Greetings one and all. Wow, this one sounds so sweet. Okay. Yeah, you don't need it right now, but you're going to need it in a minute. Yes, people, family, generations old and new, greetings again. Yeah, look a quick thing today. Before we start off the thing, just give thanks to the Most High. Little quick psalms before we kick off the thing, you know. Today's Psalms 14. Yeah, for those who know. Yeah, and if you don't know, you better know. Alright, I can make sure there's not too much volume. Yeah. Alright, Psalms 14 today. The fool have said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupted. They have done abominable things, abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there was any that did understand and seek God or seek the Most High. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, to eat up my people as they eat bread, and to call not upon the Lord? They were there in great fear, where God is in the generation of the righteous. He has shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion, when the Lord bring back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. Selah. Yeah. So no fool saying to them heart there is no creator. Them talk about evolution, you know, and or mankind come from monkey. What a thing. If you believe that you come from monkey, that is your problem. Well, you know what? We know we was created in the image of the creator, not the image of a monkey. So yeah, someone watch this thing here and watch mankind, a kind of man. I try see how when everything is a con, you know. Then I try convince the people them, say them start off on all fours like monkey and crawl and stand up on then they start. What kind of foolishness is that? You know what I mean? So how come the monkey now don't talk? That means that after how much billions of years the monkey supposed to say, yeah, well, go on, give me a banana and I'm hungry. Because I'm supposed to evolve too. But all those people who believe in Darwin, what a wind. Yes, the wind. All those who believe in Darwin, But me know say, I and I people was created in the image of the creator, not the image of a monkey. I know say my ancestors never walk on 4 fours. They 2 hand and 2 foot like a monkey. Them walk upright. You know? So, little things we was researching. Some little things for you to think about before we go another thing. How would you feel if you lost one little limb? Even if it's half a finger. How would that change your life? You would say, why, we must still survive. But you realize these hands that the Creator has given us. It's only when you lose something, you know, you realize how important it is. And if you was to lose one finger, your world would change, because there's certain things you can't do. You can't hold a pen the way you used to hold a pen. And if you want to get married, you better make sure it's not that finger. You know, so all is good. We're just making sure that, you know, say, well, even down to one finger is very, very important. One little limb. So must be grateful for health and strength. For those who have hands and foot and all these kind of things, we must be grateful, because one little limb, even down to your little toe, and if you lose your big toe, you're gonna walk funny, but you will survive, but you will miss it. So all those who have all their parts, just give thanks for life, because you don't know how precious these things are until you lose them. Yeah. So, the four fingers and the thumb, I said to myself, one to the man them who want to marry the empress. You know how important that finger is, but the ring that you put on the finger represents the planet Saturn. Because we not deal with ring, When we want to marry, we just jump over the broom. And if you had enough, you just jump back over the broom. Simple things. Cheap, not cheap, but original, Greetings, my trainer. You know what? I got a trainer in here, Me never see man in a trousers yet, I always see him in a shorts. And yeah, and none of them funny business when we say we not see man in a trousers. So we know say some people might think funny. We work with them, we are straight Rasta. You know what I mean? Yeah, man always in a training shoes and hey, a whistle and everything. Yeah, man, I'm glad you're looking strong though. Yeah. Everybody in there look like them have suntan. So, I have my sister in here. I have my brethren in here. All the soldiers in there. So we're not going to waste no time. As I said, we start off with the show. So the fools in their heart say there is no God. Corrupted are they. And then them people, they're politicians, turn around and say them are going to run the country. And they don't believe that there's a creator. Oh, you're going to follow them. But we're not going to go too much in our politics right now. When we're ready to deal with them, when we them deal with that already, them time is up. They are on borrowed time, overtime, injury time. Like when you play football and the game done. But them give you a little bit of extra time to try your best. That's their time. They're in our injury time because they get injured. And you know how they get injured? Because your words sound and power in your prayer tear down some walls. So just keep on doing that. Don't think say them little words what you're saying is going in vain, because the universe, words, sound and power vibrations go out, and no word that come out of your mouth is wasted. So when we pray and call upon the elements and the ancestors to be with we and defend with certain things, words, sound and power, once it goes out, it must not come back without it being accomplished. So we know say many people suffer, many people die. You better ask me why. Why? Because there is some people out there who don't care. That's why. Greed, wealth, want the land. Don't forget that the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and them want the whole world for themselves. And I kill off the poor. But it's just a matter of time, because it's in injury time. So I talk the thing because it's the reality. And in your prayers, you have the power to change anything. We have the power to make the sun rise, to make the sun shine. And people don't, as I said, we don't use that power as much as we should do. And all the people that will go to the church and gathering, I keep telling you the same thing. So much times you pray for healing and pray for wealth and pray for finance and pray for all of these material things. Vanity, 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 all is vanity. But if we all get together in the church and pray for the freedom and liberation of our people, and how much a black church there is on the land, and if all of them pray for this thing, we don't must go through and bust through the struggle. But no, everybody want bless me with my house, Lord, and my business and my finance and my this and my material Babylon world vanity you're living in. But if you notice some of the artists, our reggae artists, no matter how gloomy the weather is, as soon as they come on stage, the sun just come out and shine. And there is enough people that has appeared on a rainy day, and as soon as they appear, the sun just bursts out and shine. You have the power, to make the sun shine anytime you want to, if you come together in oneness. So before I start carry on, I'm just telling you about the power you have, so you better use it. My sister, where for artist to my sister. Alright, how you doing? Well, I'm seeing my brethren is so kind, he forget to turn it on. Yeah, he's a gentleman, you know. Just give her the mic as I see it there.
Okay.
Alright. Get around here.
You know what I mean? Intentions.
Yeah, we wasn't brought up as gentlemen and say, here you are, madam. Say, take it. Alright.
I guess he was in such a hurry to get me speaking that he just gave me the mic without ensuring that it.
Yeah, I know. He come many miles to see you.
You know, what that reminds me of, you know, is that you have many speakers, healers and speakers, but they don't wait for the Spirit to activate them to work, you know. So unless this was actually connected to the source, I really wouldn't have been able to be heard, or the power. I wouldn't have any power in my speech, right? Nobody would be able to hear me. So it's the same thing with many of us, even as healers or preachers. You know, we in order for us to have power, we have to make sure that we are connected to the source to really have the kind of power that we're really supposed to have. You know, I heard you, my brother, made a very valid point that, you know, it's time for us as a people to unite. It's important for unity, but is it possible for unity? One of the things that I have come to acknowledge is that of a truth, there are many gods in the world. I'm told that there are over 450 million gods being worshipped in the world. 450 million gods that are being worshipped, yeah. And I'm told that in India, you know, they have the most over 400 million of them are being worshipped in India. And Indians and Africans are very close in terms of their complexion. They're dark skinned, many of them are dark skinned. And so sometimes we stand before a group of people and we say, you know, pray, let's unite. But we can unite in the flesh, but can we unite in the spirit? You know, when we're all looking to different gods for help, is that possible? I'm not saying that it's not possible, because one of the beauty that I have come to acknowledge about the Creator is that, you know, He sees the heart. And that is why He can say He allows the rain to fall on the just and on the unjust. Because it is the sincerity of the heart towards Him that He really responds to, more than even the color or the name of the gods or all of those things that He really responds to. So what the challenge when you think of unity and saying all of us should unite and all of us should pray, I go back to the model of the Bible, which is what I tend to use a whole lot as my reference point.
May I ask you why?
Why do I use the Bible as my reference?
Considering the King James rumor.
Yeah. No. The fact that King James really didn't write it because he himself was converted or believed in it. Mm-hmm. So why do I believe in it?
Yeah.
The spirit of it speaks to my spirit, and that's the reason why I have read many other. I don't know if I told you before that I've been through Rastafarianism, I've been through Christianity, Baptist, Adventist.
All kind of isms.
Yeah, Muslims, Hinduism. I've been through. You just name it. I have been there. I was a dietary. I used to study Buddhism. I went even to do karate and a whole lot of. I've been through a whole lot.
Right.
All of them had their place, but presently the state where I am, the spirit of Christianity is what really speaks a lot to me. No, I can't speak for other persons. You understand? Other persons, we all have to find which spirit speaks to us. Because like I said, there are so many of us that are from different tribes in Africa, or from different places in the globe. And believe it or not, you know, when you were born, you were assigned a spirit.
What they call a guardian angel.
Well, you want to call it a guardian angel.
That's what them call it here.
You call it a guardian angel, but I will tell you that the way the spirit world is structured, we have where you are assigned a spirit, an individual spirit. You have more like generational spirits, or what you call generational curse or blessing.
Or ancestors.
Yes.
Ancestral
and
spirits.
you have spirits that are assigned to countries or nations or tribes.
All right.
So you have a warlike tribe. Of course, they're going to have warlike spirit. They're going to have a warlike spirit. So so these are things that it is important when we think of unity. You have to think of purpose, and you have to think of where do you belong and to whom do you really belong.
Okay. And whom do you belong?
Yes, to whom do you belong?
Whom you?
Do I belong
Whom?
to?
Yeah, whom you belong?
Wow. All right. You see, I still consider myself on a journey, right? Presently, I believe that the persons of the Bible were of, I'm going to say Hebrew, Ethiopian Hebrew descent. So my quest is trying to go back to Ethiopia to understand, the different. I don't like the word Jews, but I prefer to use the word Hebrew. So the Hebrew people in Ethiopia is more or less where I want I want to go and study. But where I am now, I use a lot of Jewish customs. So I'll keep the Sabbath. I'll use the name Yahweh. I'll use
Yeshua.
Yeshua. Yeah, so I use a lot of Hebrew stuff.
Okay.
And it works for me. And that's why I use it.
All right.
Yeah.
Today is going to be a very interesting day. So people, we have a lot of, for those who know or don't know who's talking, may you introduce yourself. See, we're just rushing at the thing. See, people, this is how we black people stay, Make we do a radio show. We don't even tell you who is on the show. We just talk. You know what I mean? That's how professional we is. But I got already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just can't wait to do the thing. So as we start again, I'm introducing, we start again. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For this third time. In the studio we have
Maureen Minto.
All right, Maureen Minto. And you've heard her before with Brother Doggy, and she's been doing a couple of seminars as well. I went to your seminar the other day.
Thank you.
It was all right. I walk out there with a blessing and a half.
Thank you.
Yes. She does a lot of herbal healing, which my virgin here is going to be very interested in. Even know enough bushman. Even been through enough bushes. You know what I mean? So that's why I say make him come in and meet you, because we got SISTA MAUREEN here. We have our brother TAFARI from the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and his family is like deep into this thing.
Yes.
So I've learned from them.
Yes.
Him, mother, father, baby, everybody is just in the church, and it's just a wonderful thing to see a family actually born into the church, given to the church. It's like so I said to myself, I can see where I go on. So he's my brethren. He's like my little big brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he knows a lot of things, and he teaches a lot of things. When I say know a lot of things, we all know a lot of things. You can't be denial, we all know a lot of things.
Are you from Ethiopia originally?
All right, hold on. So
Or you've been converted to the faith?
No, greetings to the listeners. Now I was actually born here in this country. My father's from Jamaica. My mother's from Guyana.
Yes.
My father, his journey began in Rasta until in the early 70s, when they wrote a letter to His Majesty the Emperor, Haile Selassie I, and he sent the church here. And he was part of that.
Yeah.
I was fortunate when the church arrived to be baptized as a baby. So really, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, in terms of my faith, I didn't have to convert to anything. That's all I've known.
Yeah.
I've studied over the years. Like people, like they start off in one denomination until they find where they need to be at. So whereas me, I was trying to find if I'm at the right place. So I spent the year studying and made several trips to Ethiopia. And for me, it's I'm at the right place, and I think that's where I.
Why would you say you're at the right place?
Well, it's like you said, it's personal experience, and for me, in terms of what I understand about the anciency, the first thing I had to do is establish the importance of baptism in history, and it took me into Egypt, ancient Egypt, and I realized that in ancient Egypt they undertook many baptism rituals. So I started from that point to understand, well, the history of the Bible. Then where did the Bible come from? Who were the first Hebrews? So there was a lot of things that sort of took place that led me to sort of understand that for me personally, my own personal journey, that I'm in the right place. I can't speak for everybody else. It's down to your own personal experience. But there's a lot of history in Ethiopia, as we know. Civilization, Belang, started on the Nile Valley. Started from Ethiopia, went down to Egypt, and then from there we sort of moved all right across Africa. So for me, I had to go to divine the root to actually understand, well, this is where we are coming from as a people. So our spirituality should be coming from around the same place, which made me understand that, well, I don't really want to move from the Ethiopian side of it, because us as a nation of people, as black people, we started off in that region from the Nile Valley, and we moved down the Nile Valley through Egypt. We moved across Africa through Chad, through Niger, down to Ghana, and we went right across the planet, so to speak. But it started from that source, and that's why I haven't really moved from it.
The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, they're the same ones that have the Ark of the Covenant, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. Remember me? Hi. Right. See the people that take over the show, you know. They take over the show. It's all right. Let me sit down. And we have Brother Dougie here. Yeah. Good afternoon, Brother Dougie.
Yes, warmest greetings. Good to reason on Pastor, Pastor show. So yes, I'm here, man. I'm here to say some powerhouse reasoning.
All right. So people, we have words sound on power here to the ultimate. It's a blessing that we are all here. So before we continue further, would you take a blessing in another place from the sister, because you come from so far? So just a little word of blessing as we hear. So when one or two are gathered, the Almighty is in the midst. Yeah. So yeah, remember, I'm ready for you. You know, from last couple of weeks you get wet. So me and you today. We mean what? Yeah, well, speak, pray, bless, make up something, innit? Then I do it for you. May the Almighty bless us all in this place today. Give thanks for health and strength and daily bread. Sealer. Bless the poor and those that's fortunate than ourselves. Those who are going through turbulence, can't find their destiny, can't find their culture. May the Almighty bless them and guide them. And give thanks for us all and the ancestors and those who have died and given their lives so that all of us in this room can be here today to speak, because many people has died and put a lot on the line and a lot of sacrifice so that all of us can be here today. So we give thanks to the Most High, the Almighty, the Creator. Give thanks and praises, Sealer. Bless the poor. That's it. See how easy it is?
Yeah. No, I don't oppose to praying. It's just that there was a time in my life when I would pray like that, and then the Creator came to me once and He said to me, "Am I the great King of the universe?" And I said, "You are." And He said, He brought me back to the story of Esther. And Esther was not allowed to go into the presence of the king unless she was invited in the presence of the king.
Yeah.
And you know, the Creator said to me, "If I am the great King of the universe, can man truly just run into my presence and just without me inviting them into my presence?" And then He said to me, "I must always wait to be invited to come in to speak to Him. My duty is to allow my vessel to be clean and pure and to listen to Him. And when He, the King, is ready, He will call me to speak to me." So I tend to do that rather than, I know we grew up in Christianity where everybody just close them eye and just mumble something and they don't really listen and they're not even in communication with the Creator. But I have had to change that habit and just really learn to listen to the voice of the Creator until He says to me, "Come, I am ready to talk to you. Come, let us reason together." Yeah.
Okay, because I listen to what you're saying and you hear the voice. People will say, "How do you hear the voice of the Creator? How do you know it's the Creator you're hearing? How do you know it's not yourself you're hearing?" Like, for example, I will say, "Where's the Rizla?" And I will hear the Rizla on the table. But I'm thinking to myself and I'm answering to myself. So I'm saying, how do you know the difference between the voices? And considering there's a lot of deceiving spirits and things out there that pretend that they are what they are and they're not, and you only find out when it's a bit late.
It comes with rehearsal, with practice.
Ah,
Over the years, you hear and you learn to respond and you see what it does and you keep moving, and then the more you empty yourself of greed and selfishness and just ask for him to continue to fill you, to use you as that source of light and power for others, it's the more that you're going to be able to hear from him. And then he gives you tests. There was a time when I was supposed to go to this church to worship, and I heard the voice. I was told not to go to anywhere to worship, but I personally like fellowship.
yeah.
And I wanted to go, and I begged him. I said, "Can I go?" So the Friday evening he said to me, "Okay, go to that place of worship." But he actually showed me in advance what would have happened when I went to the place of worship. I got up the Sabbath morning. I said, "Boy, I'm not going to go face what I saw." But when I got up the Sabbath morning, he said, "I want you to go." In my hesitancy, I said to him, "How can I be sure that it is you that really wants me to go?" He took me in the spirit to a friend of mine that lived in New York, and I heard my friend's thought. And then he said to me, "Call your friend and ask your friend if he's thinking that." So I took up my phone and I called my friend. It was a male, and I said to him, "I just heard your thought. You were thinking that he's 65, and I heard him thinking that he wanted a young girl's breast to caress."
Ooh.
And my friend, so I called him.
Doggy, open your eye. Open your eye. Pay attention.
I called him and I said to him, I just heard your thought. You were thinking that you wanted a young girl's breast." And he said, "No, man, you could never have heard me." And so these little things the Creator does that helps me to understand that it could only be He who is actually speaking to me. And I get those things over and over. I'll be sitting someplace sometimes and I will hear thoughts and voices, and if I ask a person, were you thinking this at the moment? So he helps me along the way. He ushers me so that I know that it is he.
All right. In a little, what we're going to do, we're going to reason and talk for a little while, maybe about 10 minutes or so. I left my questions again. You may left me question them again, but I know what them is. So I'm going to run and get them. Yeah. But what we're going to do, we're going to talk. We're going to do a little thing here. We're going to talk for a little while, and then after about 20 minutes or so, everybody talk. That means yes, like what you're doing now, just talk.
Yeah. Reasoning with this brother, and when we think about unison, there are a few things that I would not, because I have heard often about the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. As a matter of fact, I studied it so much, I sent even a request over there saying at one time in my journey that I was actually going to go over there to live and to worship with them, until I studied a little bit more and I realized that there were more Catholic ties, Christian ties, that I didn't want to be associated with. So I said no, but I mean, this brother is from the horse's mouth, so I really wanted to hear, because
want to interview him?
No. One of the things that is that I believe that you have a lot of these persons who are from the Ethiopian Orthodox faith, right?
Yeah.
And we know that the Bible that we have, even though lots of persons have gone ahead and retranslated it and so forth into making it more Hebrew,
yeah.
But one of the things that I have not seen like groups like the Ethiopian Orthodox to do is to, I'm going to say, make their presence more known in the Western world, because our truth persons in the Western world are hungry and thirsting for a knowledge that is ancient and it's archaic. It's more in Ethiopia.
Okay, this is why I brought the brother in. I asked him to come in because I know you two have to link up and reason. Don't ask me why, but it has to be done.
Yeah.
So Tafari, when you feel like asking her a question, don't be shy. If you're shy, just put up your hand and I will help you. You know what I mean? Yes, so it would be a man thing, innit? Brother Doggy, ghetto man, right? Yes, sir. But before you start conversating, right? First of all, let us know, the listeners know, what you specialize in. What is your speciality? What you do? What brought you to this country? What do you specialize in? So Tafari can ask you some questions because she has some things, some bush, some hardcore bush, Tomorrow, you know, tell you, you're going to need some.
Okay, what do I specialize in? I'm a healer. I think I prefer that terminology. I think my mission is to heal persons on all planes.
Yeah,
But more so, I get to meet people on the physical plane where, we have been able to rid a person's body of serious illnesses like cancer, diabetes, HIV, AIDS, high blood pressure, fibroids, and all those serious illnesses. Yeah. So basically, that's the main thing. And then I do spend a lot of time trying to help persons to learn herbs because not all of us are called to be healers.
yeah,
But as warriors on the battlefield, we might fall into places where we don't have a healer, and so each one of us have to learn to dress our own wounds.
yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
So as the scripture said, physician, heal thyself.
Yeah.
And a lot of us is not healing ourselves from they're running to the doctor who wears a white coat. I'm not saying that they're all bad. Some of them do help. But I keep saying this because if you broke your leg, sometimes you run there and get a piece of plaster or whatever. There's things they can help with.
That's because we haven't established our own healing systems. I say to persons, I don't have a problem with the Caucasian method of healing because that's for the Caucasians, really. That is why when they're doing their testing, they use white rats instead of black rats, and because it's really they have designed it for themselves, and we are not to be envious of them creating their healing. What we need to do is to spend the time to create our own healing systems. The Chinese have done well with theirs. The Indians have done well with theirs. But again, we fall into the same position. We want the cow's milk. We are the only you're the only animal on the planet Earth that wants to drink and subsist on the milk of other animals. So we are in the same thing with the healing system. We want to subsist. We are like parasites. We want to leech on the healing systems of all the other nations. Even though our brains and our abilities may have been the ones to have hoist and anchored these, but it is time for us to build our own.
Go on, Ducky.
Yes, first I want to give thanks and praise. Give thanks for those listening right now. I just want to ask you a question, and to me it's a very burning question. It's a question about bringing health practitioners come together. I know that Stephen Sally's working on bringing a few individuals come together here in the UK. I don't know if in Jamaica, I've been talking about sincere health practitioners because one of the questions was asked yesterday on the radio show last night is that you do have some health practitioners out there, but they just want to make money.
Yeah.
Let's talk as it is. Just want to make money and take advantage of people and so forth, right? So my question is that in Jamaica, are there any initiative in terms of sincere health practitioners come together in terms of working together?
Like building a hospital or something.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the excellent thing that is happening is that generally you would have us so divided, but now many persons who are having many other healers, they've called me now to come and talk to them, to come and let us reason together. We are planning something for December. We're planning a bigger herb retreat in Jamaica for December, and we are really hoping to have one big unison, I think it's going to work out because we have to get to the place where it is not my benefit, it's not my interest, but we become so collaborative where it is the interest of the pack. You understand? So we get back to our natural instinct where we preserve ourselves, our race. And I think that it is happening because more and more of us, I'll say, as you become closer to herbs and to nature, you begin to understand that it is more than nature, but there's a creator who is above nature, and that makes you humble yourselves. And the more you humble yourself in realizing that you're just a little speck, you're just a little vessel that he just pours a little tip of knowledge in, and there is so much more that you can get if you really just humble yourself. Then it helps us more to become more humble and to really realize that it's a gift that he has given to us to serve.
Okay then. Because and I want to give a backdrop to you because how I get to hear about you really on RFM, I think it's called Mellow or whatever now, right? And in fact, the manager Cowboy told me about you, and I've been glued to you every single week. Seeing you in the flesh now is like still amazing to me, and seeing how people gravitate towards you You know, people phone you up, and I know you work tirelessly. You know, people need to see the value of you. You know, one question was asked, and I think right pastor. I couldn't write pastor for some reason.
Just call me Bless.
Right pastor.
Mr. Bless,
Right.
easier because you got from Rasta Pastors.
Yeah. In Jamaica, a lot of we're talking about Jamaica, black men them suffer from prostate cancer, right? And also here as well. So it seems to be global, you know, and it's quite worrying. You know, as you know, a lot of black men suffer from fibroids and so forth. So the reproductive system, you know, has been under attack, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I wonder you can just talk a little bit about the other thing about the prostate cancer.
I tend to think first that it's really an issue of the mind where the fixing of prostate cancer must start. And I guess it's just us as a people having to set things in order. I spoke at one of the seminars, I spoke about polygamy. And a lot of women called me and saying, boy, I really disagree with you. But when you hear
Hold on. What's this polygamy thing? Like Tafari just bowed my head when you said that. Like, no, don't go there. Go there. What's this? And you are sweat like no. It's what my brothers say. When you talk about things like them things, they duck their head. Yeah. So I want to elaborate. What's this polygamy? You're listening to Farah.
The reason why I like to hit that note about polygamy, it's because it's the whole concept of the family that needs to be reorganized. And once we begin to reorganize the whole concept of the family, we're going to realize that the desire to go out, so, you know, we're going to be limiting sexually transmitted diseases, masturbation, pornography, and a lot of those weaknesses that tend to create weaknesses in our groin, in the prostate, will be eliminated. You know, one sister and I, she was talking, she said, Maureen, I want to hear nothing about polygamy, because I don't believe, I have seen marriages from Africa and it didn't work because the one wife and the, you know, but I said it goes back to the whole concept and the whole principle. Many of us women are selfish. You know, we want to keep the man under control, one, with our legs, and two, we don't want to share. We don't want any other person to share. But what happens is that when we begin to realize that whether you like it or not, there's a very great possibility that your spouse is sharing and you have no control over it. You don't even know who you're sharing him with. If we were more open to saying, let us become active, let us, the wife, become active in helping you to choose for the betterment of the entire pact, then we would realize that we would have, because when you have like HPV virus, the human papilloma virus, which is one of the, it's a virus that is always identified in like prostate cancer, womb cancer, uterine cancer, colon cancer. You begin to understand that if we were more, and a lot of it has to do, it's a sexually transmitted virus, but when you look at it, it's because of the high rate of extramarital relationships, and this is so common among what they would say black people. But if we had, when you check races like the Jews, the Indians, where they have a more committed type of a relationship, you'll find that it is almost negligible. You don't get prostate cancer occurring any at all. Yes, some persons might say for the Jews, it's a matter of the fact that they have done the foreskin,
chop it off.
They've been circumcised. But you don't have that happening with the Indians, so you have to find a different reason for the Indians. So one of the things that we have to do is to start to look at the whole structure, or whole family structure, in order for us to think about healing ourselves, because we're really talking about healing. There are many of us who say, yes, we believe in the Bible, or we believe in Ethiopia. We cannot segregate it and just choose parts of it to accept. the scripture that got us into this position where we believe in monogamy is a scripture that says, if you are to be a bishop, if you're going to be a leader in the church, you are to only have one wife. And that only applies to the leaders.
You hear that, Tafari?
But the rest of the congregation, had more than one wife, and there was nothing there was no scriptural evidence that says the apostles who came after the Savior himself did not say, any man that was married to more than one wife, you were to leave your wives, choose one of your wife and come.
Okay, Tafari.
And neither did the apostles say that
He's
either.
got something to say.
But what they said was those who are
There's a
leaders
reason why I'm saying this.
in the congregation. And so we have come over to a Western, and what we have to always understand is that the Bible is from it's an Afrocentric book. You cannot take it and place it into a Western or a European culture. It cannot fit into it.
Right.
So we must go back to the original.
So basically, because my brethren here is a man of the church, that's why you have to have one wife. You see? I don't worry, I wasn't going to put you in it. You're cool, man, you're cool. I like myself, I have one. Doggy, you have one too. My brethren, my trainer, you have one. 30 years. Yeah, man. See, that's it. They're stuck, that's it.
One of the things about a lot of persons who talk about marriages for 30 years or so, it goes back to the same thing that breeds diseases, If we were allowed to be honest within our relationship and talk openly in our relationship, we would realize that it's in the nature of many of our persons who have been married. I'm not going to even say that it hasn't been practiced, but and one of the things that I know is that the psychological impact of a man who says to his wife that you're the only woman, but he goes out and he sleeps, it makes him less of a man, because he becomes that in himself he's a weakling, and he has to hide away from one that he is supposed to be head of, but he has to end up making himself subservient too, because he, when really, and I'm saying that all of this makes our men less of the man that they are really. So there's a whole lot of psychological damage that is being done to weaken ourselves even and our positions even in our households.
Right. So what I was getting to the point when you're talking about the priest have one wife.
Yes.
And all that, which there's enough of us out there as Rastafari who classifies ourselves as kings and queens and priests and all of this. My brethren is going to say something. You could.
All I was going to say is, from my perspective, I believe that you should just have the one queen. There's nothing wrong with a man having one wife. I know the Bible, for example, with Abraham, he had more than one wife. He married, he took Hagar, because Sarah was barren at the time, so she said to take Hagar as a concubine, and he took her. Same with Solomon. He had how many wives? He almost had 1,000 women. But from my perspective, I believe that you should treat your queen right, and if you treat your queen right, you'll have a happy, fruitful, and prosperous relationship. And I really do believe that the two become one flesh. And for the brothers them out there, don't feel a way to sort of, I don't know, look at your wife like you're on the same level. I don't really believe that a man has to be above his woman, because the woman gives a lot. And I mean, even for my circumstances, I mean, I love my wife, and I don't look nowhere else, because my wife gives me everything that I need. So I think the reason why a lot of the brothers them go, I don't believe that they should be going elsewhere, because the decree was the man should have his woman. I don't believe in multiple women or a woman sharing a man. I don't really believe that it's right. Many men do it, but that's my own opinion, and that's my opinion because I do believe that in the production cycle and in a man respecting the fact that a woman has to go 9 months, and if you respect your mother, then you will respect your wife. That's how I look at it.
You gonna say something?
Yeah, yes. You see, I am a woman, and I tend to say to sisters that I would not guide them improperly. I would never say anything that is not correct. Now, I have no problem in saying that there are roles and that in every organizational structure there is authority. So there has to be somebody who has the final say. Both of you cannot have the final say.
Okay.
In any organization at all, and the family is a business. I'm lightening it to a business. It's a very important unit of any foundation of any country, any business, anything at all.
All right. Tafari said a very valid. You're saying about the polygamy thing, yeah, but he said a very valid point, which I agree with. You see, when the two come together, you become one flesh physically, but also spiritually. You can also have the one mind, the same mind, because it's like if something's gonna happen, or say for example to the bread over there, sometimes the queen picks it up before. Sometimes you're both sitting down and you got the same thought and become one flesh and one spirit.
All right, but it's not.
Go on.
No, it's not a bad thing what you're saying, you know. But we are looking. It's comparing different things. We're talking about structure of the family and not about communication in the family.
Yeah.
So in the family we can have communication where husbands and wives can have even that spiritual communication with each other, where they think alike, act alike, communicate on that level. But the Bible that most of us use as our dictate, it says in 1 Corinthians, I think chapter 11, it says, God, referring to the Father, is head over the Son, who you might say Jesus, I say Yeshua, and the man falls under in authority, and under the man in authority is the woman, and the woman is even placed even above even the angels. So what has happened to this universe is that man does not understand authority, and that is what is beating us. Yeshua, when he walked the earth, he had no qualms in saying, my Father is greater than I am. And therefore, it is not to be seen as a power struggle. You know, if you look at where all of this thing came from, it came from the Marxists and the Europeans and them not understanding themselves and structure. And then you get women coming in and saying, boy, we are not equal. But the universe was being run quite fine when men understood themselves that the responsibility of the world was ultimately placed upon them. So even when the woman didn't make the right decision, ultimately the man had to make the right decision because of the saving of the human race. So I, as a woman, I have no problem in acknowledging that men are placed by the Creator to be in charge above me for this universe.
Tafari.
No, I understand that point in terms of the headship.
Yeah.
Because with anything, it's like somebody eventually has to make an executive decision, so to speak. And this is where reasoning comes into place. And then you reach an agreement, but the final agreement does come from one source. Now, when we look at the Bible, let's look at the Bible then, because that's the reference book.
Yeah.
Now, the first books of the Bible was translated around 700 BC.
Yeah.
And then we have to look at, well, who were the writers? Where did the Bible actually come from? And if we start going into the origins of the Bible and the books that were actually written in the Bible, it all comes back to more ancient time or more ancient writings. Now, where was the Bible written? That's the first question. The Bible was actually written and translated in Alexandria in Egypt. Now you have to look at where did a lot of the biblical stories come from. When you start to actually break things down, you start making the comparisons, you'll find that the 72 scholars, because there were 36 Greeks and 36 Hebrew-speaking scholars that came together to write the Bible. Now, much of the stories were actually recorded in Egyptian texts. Now, when you actually look at the whole hierarchy of what predated that, who were the first Hebrews? Abraham was classed as the first Hebrew. We know this because after that it was the children of Israel that descended from there. And all of the biblical writings, most of the biblical writings from the Old Testament started from Abraham's time. Yeah, Moses was the one that actually was credited for writing the first 5 books. Yeah, the Pentateuch. Yeah, so although Moses was credited for writing the first 5 books, the time that the Bible was actually written and translated was long after Moses had passed. They started editing the Bible text afterwards. So you have to then say to yourself, well, where do you, if you really wanted to study the Bible, we can look at the Bible from a spiritual aspect in terms of where did all the spirituality come from in the Bible, or you can actually research the Bible to see, well, a lot of scholars came together to actually compose the Bible and to write the Bible so we can get a clearer understanding. Even the books that Yeshua, like the Gospels, the first 4 Gospels, if you go to the first Gospel of Luke, for example, Luke in Luke's Gospel, he's starts to write that he's decided to interpret what other people had written because he wasn't one of the 12 disciples. That's in the first chapter. So when you actually start looking at the Bible in general and which books was it that was actually translated and how far back do they go, you'd have to go to the source to understand the essence of spirituality. That's my personal journey.
All right.
I can't speak for you, sister, because you're on your own journey, and every soul, every individual is on their own journey. So it depends on where you're journeying in life. And what I found is a lot of the histories, the mysteries. I mean, I've got text that predates the biblical text, and when I read that text, I saw quotes. I can cross-reference the text that I had from ancient times to what was written in the Bible, but these were coming from us. Yeah, so it was coming from us, it was coming from our people, from our generation, and we had a level of spirituality then. And in those ancient times, the pharaohs and the empresses were respected. The woman, if you go back to ancient times, let's because I know we're saying what was written in the Bible, but if we start going back to ancient times and the role of the woman was given a lot more respect. If you go back to ancient Egypt, she was given a lot of respect. She was treated with a lot of respect.
You can interrupt, you know.
Yeah.
This is the part of the show where don't wait for a next man to stop talk. If you got something to say,
Okay.
you grab the mic. Even you too, because this site works now.
All right. The weakness that I have is that in my spirit, I have to acknowledge that his spirit being male is superior to my spirit. So I have to be given permission from him to actually speak.
All right, but this little show what we have here, there is no rules.
Yeah.
Just do this little half an hour. Forget the rules. Yeah, just say there's no rules, right? You just talk when you want to talk. Just be managed, right? But we never discussed the spiritual thing. As I said, become one flesh physically, but then spiritually we can also become one flesh as well. So if me and my queen is one flesh physically and spiritually, for example, and then sometimes you have one mind, because you and your queen can have one mind, one thought, and you be thinking about something and she be thinking about something at the same time. So when you come with the polygamy thing, how can a man be one with more than one?
Hallelujah. Let me tell you something, brother. We are living at a time when there is no man and no wife to get us out of this thing. You have to learn to be one mind with everybody inside here. We have to learn to be of such mind that when we move forward with such
tell them
with such militancy, you think you alone can save your wife and the dilemma that is ahead of us? You can save your wife and the whole entire black race is going down in my brother. It is time for us to cut out those rubbish and let those fairy tales, bury them, and start look about the interest of the entire nation.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now we're getting there.
Yeah, I hear that.
Now we're getting there.
It is time for us to start communicating on such spiritual levels that all of us, once you enter into the room, you can automatically tell those who are on your journey, who are with you, and know who to leave behind.
Yes.
It is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is not a talk. The time for talk has long been gone.
All right.
Look around you and see how much of your brothers and sisters are suffering and dying. Lost.
That's what I want to hear. Now the show start. See, this is the real talk now. Because you're saying now, although we're becoming one flesh and one mind. You're saying basically we're supposed to be one mind with everyone, not just with your queen or with your king.
That's the European
So
lifestyle.
basically what you're saying is our mission, what we have been put on the earth to do, is more important.
He talking about.
Seeing. Alright. You know what she just said? Go on, good question. I can't translate that to you.
And my brother, you made mention of, one of the things that we have to understand is, like he spoke about the origin of the Bible.
Yeah.
And the persons who actually came to put the Bible together. In two ways. One way, I have read that the true Ethiopians who knew the Bible and was able to discern which aspects of the Bible should not have been there, like the book of Job should never have been there, they were excluded from those meetings. And this is the reason why we as a people must now get together and write our own Bible. And it is still possible because Moses was not there in the time of Abraham. But the Spirit was able to reveal to Moses all the occurrences that took place before. We as a people must learn now to get to the point where we don't need anybody who create any archaeological studies to come and discern for us our path. How can we trust them on all these measuring tools that they have used when we even have greater? We can travel in the Spirit to see, hear, and feel what happened and write our own path.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Well, to me, the confusion really is the Bible. We should move that one side because when we take up the Bible, there's so much confusion in it, and we're using it as gossip, and that's leading us to hell. So what I'm saying, we should move the Bible one side. And like Sister said, that we should start writing our own scripts now. You see, and to me, that's what the confusion really is the whole thing about the Bible.
That is where our journey is now. We have used their compass for so long and it has misguided us. That's caused so much trouble.
Yeah.
You have this one wife, one thing. Until now I'm here in Europe and I meet big men, 60, 70. I live with my girlfriend, my boyfriend. You're still a boy. Your female is a girl. You're an ancient at the age of 60 and 70 and you are living with boyfriend and girlfriend. So there's no level of commitment, no sense of collaboration. You don't know where you are going. There's not enough confidence and trust at the age of 70. There's no stability in your life. For you to be able, you should be so settled that you're able to the guiding generations to come. Look at the Indians and the Chinese. When they're joining it for the betterment of the group. And it doesn't matter what comes in the marriage, they are staying in it.
But that's why I do agree with that. With me personally, I do look at relationship as a business. Personally speaking, I do look at it as a business. And the same way you invest in kind of a restaurant and that kind of mindset and so forth, same way you should look at in relationship, because when you ask the relationship, what do you want from that relationship? What do you want for the next 5, 10, 15 years? You got to look at it as a business.
Yes, it has to be.
Yes, you have to look at it that way. That's my personal opinion. And I think if you look at it as a business now, right, therefore you have a commitment.
Yes,
both
of you are investing for time and eternity.
Right. Yeah.
So therefore it's not something where you are going to, we get together and 10 years we work so hard together and after the 10 years we decide, boy, we can't agree, or there's another girl on the outside, so we split all that we have. And that divided, we have to go and form another relationship and you spend another 10 years and you have to divide it again. That is what is causing us to be so weak.
Yes, right. But that's
if you did 10 years together and you have mounted to that, another 10 years together you'd be another 20 years and we would have greater industries and greater things happening among us. But we are all so divided in every areas of our lives.
That's right. And that's why it's very important in a relationship to ask yourself, what do you really want from this relationship?
Yes.
Like I said, for the next 5, 10, 15 years. I remember Heskey could bear me out, right? It's a sister called Dr. Sandra Hurst, and she said that when you get involved in a relationship, right, you should at least ask at least about 50 to 100 questions, right, before you start knocking thighs with each other. You see, you need to be asked questions. What do you want? Once you know what you want, you know what you don't want. You know. Let's give you want to discuss it.
Yeah, because if the man and the wife have a little function, him a go road go look somebody else stay away. So somebody else stay away. Yeah, big up.
Yeah, I just wanted to. There seems to be a slight contradiction in what you're saying regarding, you know, I hear from one point of view men having, you know, you should. Sorry, Dougie did say Hesketh Benoit, and you did say, you know, Hesketh Benoit many years in the
trainer. Will never wear choices, just shorts.
Coaching for over 35 years, young people mature right across the board, and motivation and mentoring right through, you know, with our people.
All right, go on before you forget your point.
Yeah, a little contradiction because in one hand you're sort of saying, you know, the 30 years that I feel that I've settled, like this young man is saying as well, and one wife, you've invested a lot of time, a lot of energy with my kids, rather than me, you know, I know guys that have got lots of girls and they're thinking, you know, their minds, I know when I talk to them, their minds are all over their place. For their children, which is all over the place, number one, and for the females that they're with as well. So, but on one hand you're saying, no, it's all right because the men are saying it's all right for them to look, having more women, to one hand, and then the other hand you're saying no, you know, you should build up that relationship. I'm not sure what you know, it seems a contradiction there.
I understand why you say that, and that's why I say I thank the Creator that I went into the Muslim faith at one time, and I was able to understand the basis on which they chose wives. Also, I have studied like the Maasai tribe and other African tribes, and I realized that when you talk about a family, it's not necessarily saying that it's one wife and one husband, but it's just a unit of people that are moving together for the betterment. You understand? So whether or not it's one wife as a priest would have, or more than one wife as other members of the nation would have, it's still a family. You understand? And all of them are working together for the betterment of the unit and the betterment of the nation.
Okay.
But is it okay for the females to have more partners as well?
On more than one basis, I tend to say no. The scripture says that it is not wise for more than one seed to be planted in one hole, and I'll say scientifically, when a woman has more than one man, it changes even her odor, or her smell, her odor. And also, it changes her personality. Anytime a woman ends a relationship and she has not allowed 2 years to pass, that woman will carry baggage. But a woman that has allowed 2 years, where her body gets rid of the spirit, because the man deposited his seed inside of her. And with his seed comes his spirit. So he leaves a part of himself inside that woman. Can you imagine if you get more than one man leaving parts of themselves, how much bull or rage in that one thing? So you get a very confused woman. So it's never sensible, it's not right. Nature itself tells you that it's not right for any woman to have more than one man depositing seeds into her at the same time.
I just want to jump in here because polygamy, and please correct me if you can, it's more of a misrep information here, or anyway, correct me here. How I understand polygamy is that, for example, if me and you is married now, right? And it might be a case you can't have no more children. It's usually the first wife, the wife will suggest that she brings another woman in to have more children, or might have another helper in, or whatever. It's not a case where this man goes out and so forth.
No.
I understand. So I don't know if you can share some light, because people might either listening right now, and people are logging in right now, and just if you can.
They might think so they can just have two women and have the two of them living under the same roof. Isn't there an order between the two women? Or what you call it? Yeah, an order. The two of the women them can't rule the house.
No, this is where the whole point of authority comes in.
Right.
So when the younger wife can't understand what the older wife is saying, and both of them somehow can't, it has to be referred to the man, and then the man in his wisdom has to be able to choose to come up with an answer to create peace and harmony in his own household. So it is true that the man is not allowed for wisdom's sake to choose a wife, because you're talking about the harmony of the house. So when the wife chooses the woman, anything that she chooses, she has to live with it, and she has to learn to make peace with it. But if the man goes and chooses a wife, then the woman can say, boy, I'm not satisfied, and there's a whole lot of confusion that takes place. But a man can see a woman and say, I think that one would complement. I think she has excellent business skills, and we wouldn't mind having a secretary around that can help to organize this aspect. Or she's a teacher, and we have all of these children, and you're so busy helping me to manage our company. Maybe she'll be able to teach all our children. So I think you should take her as an excellent wife and support. Or you're not well, and she's a nurse and she has those skills. I think you should let us take her to. And then the wife would say, I think that's an excellent idea, because she has seen the qualities and know that this is not going to be a woman that's going to come and usurp and create a whole lot of mayhem and stuff. But all of this is just opening up the whole conversation and consciousness of our people. It's not something that can ever be rushed into.
Okay, because I don't want people to think, the listening, say, yeah, well, man, yeah, you hear what the woman said, and the man them say, wait, for next time, I'm for bringing in another woman. I don't want people listening think that it just go like that. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't go like that either, because one of the things that we have to understand is that this spiritual consciousness is not just going to fall on me alone. Other persons, other men and women are going to be awakening to the same consciousness. A lot of women is not going to agree with this conversation still, being real. They're listening, say, and they're looking at our husband and say, you go and think about it. You what you want bringing in under this roof. Some man them is right now sitting next to their missus, and he must say that sound alright, but the missus is right beside you right now saying, yeah, you better forget that. Because it's not gonna work for some women. It's just there's a no. After how much years she there with the man, cook, clean, wash, cook, and you hear one radio show and you want to find yourself a next wife, that can't work. Alright, one of the things that we'll have to understand is it's a journey to make ourselves as a people, as a nation, stronger. And some people are going to be left behind. And that's a reality that you must face. You're going to war, you're going to have casualties that are going to be left behind. An excellent example of it is in the story of Jeremiah, when he was given the mandate to go and take back the people out of Babylon and gather them together. There were some persons who were so hooked on the Babylon system that they were told that they couldn't even come into the precincts of Jerusalem. They couldn't come back into the precinct of where the righteous, the holy people are, because they had enslaved themselves. They chose to be so attached to the systems of Babylon. And that is something that we have to understand, that not all persons are going to come into this consciousness, but it doesn't mean that it is not what it is supposed to be, because that's, if you say you believe in the Bible and just nature works, that's the only way that it can work. So look at nature as an example to how we're supposed to live. And one of the things that I say to persons, the funny thing is that we believe that they say, like I like to use the Caucasians as an example, because we have been given a white Jesus, and therefore we believe that the Caucasians are more superior in lifestyle and everything than we are. But when we look at the Caucasian lifestyle in terms of relationship, the Caucasians do not really practice a monogamy to an extent, because they, in culture and practice, they are allowed to take young men or women into their household and have intermarital they have married sexual relationship with these young boys inside there, and it's known to the wives and accepted as so the men can sleep with the young boys that actually come. So this is the part. Not only that, but they will go outside of the bounds and even have sexual relationship with animals that they have as husbandry. So they are being satisfied in ways that according to their custom and their lifestyle, it's okay, and it's normal, it's acceptable for them. So we cannot allow them to dictate our lifestyle, because many of us would not want to in fullness accept their lifestyle. Tafari.
So I was just meditating what the sister's saying, and one of the things I've sort of been thinking about, picked up, is the spirit. We're only allowed a certain amount of time on this planet. That's the reality of things.
Yeah.
And if we take into consideration that Earth itself is only one planet amongst many, amongst boundless universes, boundless galaxies, and we're only dealing with Earth, the concept of Earth. And when we're dealing with the spirit, I mean, ones could pass at any time. We can go tomorrow, and I'm just thinking, well, the rules to life, and I understand the struggle of our people and the laws that have been laid down for man to follow. Some, as we're here, we can agree or disagree on, and saying, well, in a wider perspective, I understand what you're saying about men when they have more than one wives, because these things still go on in the African tribes. Yeah, they still go on in certain parts of Africa. So we know that it's something that concerns our people in history, but then the concept of having one wife is also a man displaying discipline. So I see it as there's many ways to look at it, but when it comes to dealing with the spirit, many of us have had different experiences in life. I've had my own personal experiences where the Creator talks to me and they've showed me things, certain angels have showed me things, and I try my best to act when they give me instructions on what to do. So every one of us, I suppose.
Farah, I just want to jump in there because I agree with you what you're saying, and I do. Me personally, I do agree with, I'm one queen, you know what I mean, and she don't want to hear them kind of argument. That trust me, you know, yeah. But you see, the thing is this, right? If we have a situation, and it's always been a situation where there's been more women than men, we got to come to deal with that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm dealing with?
Yeah.
So, we got to put things in some kind of context here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to throw it into the mix here. You know?
When you talk though about when we talk about polygamy, one of the things that has to come into play is that it has to be a healthy man, healthy in mind and body. And we talk about prostate cancer and its prevalence among black people. So a black man has to understand that even when he have more than one wife, he has to be so careful because he can't burn himself out, where he can't please otherwise, or you understand. So this is what some of the things that we even spoke about at the seminar, where man must understand that you can't ejaculate for more than 3 times within a week, because one each time you ejaculate is equivalent to 1 pint of blood, and we only have 8 pints of blood. So you're losing a pint of blood each time. So but you cannot make more than 3 pints of blood in a given week. It doesn't matter how well you eat. So there's a lot of education that we have to take and put into the whole equation, why persons can't just run here is scary and just, or else we're going to really enjoy ourselves. And this is why talking and dialogue is so important. And as the brother talks about the spirit and each one of us bonding with the spirit, I personally believe that more than even the women, men need to learn to bond with the spirit, because they are next in line to the Creator, and they really need to learn. But one of the things that I think happens is to the man is that the man is not allowed to in the physical world to accept his world as dominant over the female. And because of that, there is always confusion in the physical world, which results in confusion in the spiritual world. Because if he's anywhere where his wife is, he is subservient to his wife. Now, can you understand that in the spiritual world, spirits understand authority?
Yes, I understand.
And when they come now to communicate to this family, and they want to communicate from the head down, because it could never be otherwise. When they come into the household, the man says, honey, what you think? Honey? And the wife says, better shut your mouth, so a lot of things have to be revised in terms of the way in which we demonstrate in the physical world that we understand authority. Our children can never show us enough respect if we do not understand authority. Never ever happen. When our children sees the wives demonstrating respect to the husband, it is easy for the children to demonstrate respect for the mother, because he understands her role as second to the father. And especially when mothers have sons to raise, you allow your sons to understand that even though I am your mother, you being man in the spirit, you are superior to me. So sometimes persons ask, how do you get along so well with your sons? we understand the spirit world.
Because
They understand that I am the mother,
Yeah.
only the mother spirit to guide them out of their ignorance. But in terms of decisions, I train them a lot. I say, whatever decision you have made, I will live with your decision.
Because what you're talking about, you're not talking about control, you know, you're talking about respect.
Respect,
Yeah,
yes.
you're not talking about control freak.
Yes.
Yeah, you're talking about respect.
Yes.
And then once the children sees that, they automatically show respect as well.
Automatic.
Because what's happening now that the black man has been disrespected, be
So
turned
many
upside
times,
down and so
yes.
forth, and because the black man is really a raw diamond.
Boy,
You see?
I thank the Father for my black father that I had. When my father came into the house, everybody knew that a man came into the house. And there was no, he had 2 wives. And I'm telling you, when he came and he said, Gloria, that's my mother. The whole house quick and quiet and would line up. And him come and him inspect fingernails and everything, and him start down the rules and everything. And everybody just fell in line. I mean, of course, he abused it, because I believe that if we had the hierarchical system where but it was very influential in my life. So even when I entered into relationship, I knew that it was necessary for me to demonstrate that level of respect to my husband, so that it would automatically flow to me. So persons ask me, why don't I have the headache with my children? Why are my children so obedient and so forth? I know that if I gave my husband enough love and respect, I would automatically reap it. It will just come to me tenfold. And I get it tenfold. So I go out with my children, people say, those are your sons? Really? How did they come? We established a system, a hierarchical system. It doesn't mean that me, the mother, am any less significant. But I tell them that I'm the flower in their midst. I'm the one to be guarded and cherished in their midst. I am the delicate petal, and they are the warriors, they are the hunters. It's their duty to go out, and they are to come and to make sure that I am safe, I am protected.
Are you hearing this, man and ladies, and listening?
And so I don't have issues about respect, and of course they are human, and sometimes they might have thoughts and opinions and so forth that are different, and they might, but I now have to learn to humble myself when I see that man in them stand up and say, okay, sons, whatever you choose to do, do it. We will have to live with your decision. And so they begin to understand that their decisions are so important to the betterment of the group.
Because the thing is that, women is more powerful in her feminine energy, and a man is more powerful in his masculine energy.
Definitely.
That's why we need to know our roles as men, and women know their roles as women.
Yes, definitely.
Because as you said, that the main responsibility is to be the provider and the protector.
Yes.
One analysis I say to women, because some women say that they're in the man or they know to protect them. But I said to them, if there is a dragon outside your yard, where would you like your man to be? In front or behind you?
Right.
That's what you have to do. Ask them that.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've had to say to sisters
What
is,
did she say though? Okay, she just said no way. And listen, before we even carry on now, true, we don't know what's gonna happen with the time. We've been talking. Remember, we haven't talked nothing much about your medical skills, because everywhere you go since you come in this country, everybody talking about you and the herbalist, this and that, and what are the herbs and the medicine that you make. But you see, today we never talk about that. We don't really. Everybody else can talk about that, but when we here in SLR, we talk about different things. So now we're gonna get to the point of everybody now. We as black people know that it's our time. Regardless, we can all feel it. Yeah. Where do we go from here? We have the leaders showing us, we must organize and centralize, and we must get up, you mighty race, and accomplish what you will. And all these other people that has come forward to show us we can accomplish certain things. But we've been hearing this for years. We've always been coming together, say, we could put on a project, we could do, but we ain't going nowhere for a long time. And we've been hearing the same song for years and years. And now we reach at this point where we are now. I don't want to hear the same song no more. I want to see action. I want to see something go on, but we have to make it happen. So my question to you is, where do we go from here on the physical, spiritual, godly level or whatever, that we can actually come together and start making things happen? Instead of talking the thing, make it happen now.
All right. One of the things that I have come to appreciate in terms of history.
Say hi to Mike.
Yes, I have had to study how is it that other nations have risen to the supremacy that they have risen to. And one of the unique things that I like is with the Caucasians and the way in which they went into Africa, and the French took one part of Africa, the Italians took another part, the Germans took another part, and but the black man is the only one that decides that no part of Africa really belongs to me. You understand? So he said, "Where are you from?" He doesn't even want to tell you that he's really from Africa. But the French will say, "Oh, we have a French." So when they're here and they can't bother with the weather and everything, they go find their French Africa and their German and Italian and Spaniard and Portuguese and they find themselves wherever.
So where do we
So
go?
it is time for us to really find or identify ourselves with who we really are, and decide that we are going to start, collaboratively getting together as a group. Simba told me that he listened, and there were, I think, 2 African nations that were actually talking about, let's get together and accomplish what we are supposed to accomplish. And I think even wherever we are, like you being here, there has to be a Marcus Garvey among you. There has to be someone with the foresight, and the Spirit will lay it upon the individuals who are supposed to be leading in this movement, and you will know that you are called, you're anointed, and you're appointed for your purpose. And you will gather the right people. You will be endowed. The more you work in your office, it's the more that you're going to be endowed with the Spirit to discern.
You hear that,
And
Dougie?
all those
You
other
hear that?
leadership spirits
Oh,
will
you
be
hear that,
placed
Tafari?
upon you the more
Oh.
that you occupy your position. Doesn't mean that women are not to occupy, because without us being there. And this is one of the reasons why we want to talk about the womb at the seminar tomorrow. It is so important for a woman to keep her womb, because that womb expands the universe and will allow her to be able to sense and feel and discern things far and wide, and be able to warn and protect the nation, the men that are leading.
Okay.
But again, and any army that is being led by a woman, according to the scripture, any nation that is being led by a woman is a nation in crisis. And that is something that we need to understand, that again, it is we really are depending on our men to lead us in this battle. It cannot be left to the women.
Okay.
Because women are women are not geared for battle. Mentally and emotionally, we are not geared for battle.
Okay.
we're not physically made for it.
All right.
And so we really are depending on the men to really. I will say, those who are called, this is not a physical warfare where we're going to go and fight any war. It's a spiritual warfare. And the Creator will definitely endow His Spirit upon the persons who are called in the battle. Those who are called to lead will know that they are called to lead.
Okay, say that one more time, because this is where we're gonna round up the show, and what your message is now. Cause as I say, we are trying to get us to come together. Even with me and Tafara, we work with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church to get us together, and Dougie does these seminars to get us together. We are doing our little thing, but now enough is enough. We have to just do something. Otherwise, even if we add our own hospital, where we can actually have our own herbal doctors doing our thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And there's enough of us out there who can have the access or the knowledge for us to get these building or a building that we can have our first hospital.
Yes.
That we can actually have people coming in from different countries and back to Africa and all this, and we can start treating our own. So this is where I say we can start and make things happen. Once we have our own building where we can start healing ourselves, then we can come together from there somewhere. So I need you to tell everybody where you're going to be, your next seminar, so to speak.
All right. Before I say that, though, one of the things I'll tell you is that the Spirit is older than the man. And what we need to understand is that we need to first unite in the Spirit. Uniting in the Spirit does not come with saying whether I'm Ethiopian Orthodox or you are Haile Selassie or I am, or has nothing to do with that. It's a spirit of a purpose. We have something to accomplish. So we're going to put away the petty differences, and the petty differences in saying, the important things that we're always saying, that we know that there is a creator and that the spirit world is real. and that the Spirit is what is going to influence us to go forward into what we're going to do. So let us stop dividing on these little petty issues. What we have to understand is that the Bible in Corinthians, it says that it's one Spirit, but it's divided into purpose. So if you are given the spirit of Hail Selassie, it's for a reason. If you are given the spirit of Muhammad, it's for a reason. If I am given the spirit of a healer, it's for a reason. If I am given the spirit to speak, to prophesy, it's for a reason. So we have to stop see our differences as negative and realize that our differences are it's the body as the Bible describes it. So some of us are the eyes and some are the hands and some are the feet. And so we are given different gifts with different callings to accomplish our purpose.
All right. So, sister.
Okay, where am I going to be? Because I don't want to be there alone tomorrow, right?
Oh, you're never
I'm
alone.
going to. I don't want to be there wandering the spirit.
So, where are you going to be tomorrow?
So tomorrow, we're going to be at 366 High Road, Tottenham. We're going to be talking about the womb and women and fibroids. And we're going to be helping women to understand that they can be healed of fibroids. Women are going through menopause. We want you to understand that there are simple cures to alleviate all the hot flashes that you might experience, all the depression that is associated with menopause. So yes, we are asking you to come along tomorrow at 6:30. Persons who want consultation, you can come a little early. I'll be there from 4 o'clock.
So what's the address? 366. Is it the same
Road,
place?
yes.
366 High Road, Tottenham. So basically, it's in front of the old library or Chances. It's on the other side of the road, but you got to go a little bit on the side where the school is, along that road there. What time is it?
6:30.
6:30 tomorrow. She will be there. So that's Tottenham High Road, just before you get to the bend on the one-way system. As you pass the police station, those buildings on the right, the left, the same side. That's 6:30 tomorrow.
Yes, and for those of you who are leaving work refreshments, we're having refreshments on sale, so you can come and support it too, because all of it is a part of the whole venture.
Same thing we're talking about where we're going from here. And also on Saturday the 27th of June, you got health. Your health is your wealth. We've got 2 tickets to give away. Yeah, that's at Parkview Academy, West Green Road, N15. Brother Dougie will be there. He's got 2 tickets to give away. We should have done this from the big. Yeah, but we should have done this at the beginning of the show. Yeah. So we've got 2 tickets to give away for June the 27th event. So phone Brother Dougie on 07960 239. Miss F1 Brother Dougie. Yeah. On 07960 239 Rambo Manga then at the place. Iman is here to just say give thanks for everything. Time is running out. Also quick thing, the Saturday the 25th of July, you got something going on Broadwater Farm Community Center. You have the Ethiopian African Black International Congress. Proudly invite one and all to come along on our Sabbath celebration service, celebrating the 123rd Earth Strong of our own Divine Majesty, our Kings of Kings, Lords of Lords, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Nyabingi music by Daniel Number 1 Royal Band, Melchizedek and the Royal Choir of Negos. That's on Saturday the 25th of July. Broadwater Farm Community Center starts at 1 p.m. Sister, give thanks for so give thanks, sister, for being here, and sisters and brethren. Yeah, just give you see technology. That's what we can't. We're like the old school phone. So people, thank you for listening. Yeah, man, we all learn something. You know what I mean? Oh. God bless you and God heal you. Yeah, so that's all good people. So guidance, protection from this time forth and forevermore. Selah.
Besamahab, Wawuld, Woman Feskedus, Ahadu Hamlak. Amen. If Yahweh does not build a house, in vain the masons toil. If Yahweh does not guard the city, in vain the sentries watch. Selah. Psalms 127, verse 1. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Church St. Mary of Zion humbly requests your help and financial support to build the first Ethiopian-style church building in the UK. Modeled after the historic site in Axum, this building will be a pride to the lost sons and daughters of Cush. So whether or not you're of Cushite heritage, or just would like to be a part of this history, as it says,
Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God.
if you'd like to donate monetary or just your skills, you can contact us on email at pc@serazion.org.uk. That's pc@tserhsion.org.uk, or visit our website www.stmaryofzion.co.uk, or visit us in person at St. James Parish Church, Lower Clapton Road, Hackney, London, E5 8EG. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Church St. Mary of Zion humbly requests your help and financial support. If Yahweh does not build a house, in vain the masons toil. If Yahweh does not guard the city, in vain the sentries watch. Selah.
Them a wonder how blessed